Hey everyone, Keenan here, your number one Spider-Man PS4/PS5/Miles Morales fan, here to continue our Marvel Spider-Man 2 wishlist series. If you guys are new here, I started this channel with the intent of talking all things pop culture, and since then, I've basically turned into a Spider-Man PS5 channel, which is okay. I'm obsessed with Insomniac Spider-Man, and I intend to keep pumping out videos like this one as we lead up to the release of Marvel Spider-Man 2. So if you're into videos like this, be sure to drop me a sub and a comment telling me to keep making videos. Okay, so the topic of today's video is going to be cameos that I'd like to see in Marvel Spider-Man 2. I'm kind of a sucker for cameos, and being that Spider-Man's world and Rogue's gallery is so large, it only makes sense that we would see Spider-Man bump into a few familiar faces. Alright, so the first character on my list is a bit of an obvious one, and it's none other than Daredevil. I've made it pretty clear in some of my previous videos that I'm a big advocate of a Daredevil appearance in this game. At some point in time, it has to happen. We already know that he exists in this universe, so why not give him some sort of cameo? Ideally, I'd love a side mission that involved Daredevil. Just one mission where Daredevil seeks out the help of Spider-Man would be awesome. That would make me the happiest dude on earth. There have been plenty of rumors for years that Insomniac could be in early development for a Daredevil game, and if that's the case, then this would be the coolest way to introduce the character into the amazing universe Insomniac has established. Alright, moving on, the next character on my list is going to be Gwen Stacy. I'd love to see her introduced at some point during this game. To be honest, the main reason I want to see her introduced is so that way we can eventually get a Spider-Gwen game. I really want this to happen in the future, and I love the idea of making her a love interest or maybe best friend of Miles, similarly to the way that they handled it in Into the Spider-Verse. I don't need Gwen to be a main character of this game, but I'd love to see some sort of tease. They can even handle it the same way that they handled Miles in the first game. Just give us a small introduction to let us know that she is there in this universe, and then hopefully we'll get to a solo game with her down the line. I want Insomniac to continue to expand on their Spider-Man universe. They've already proven to me that they can be trusted with these characters, so I really hope to see them take on Gwen Stacy at some point in time. Okay, so the next cameo on my list probably technically isn't a cameo, but I want to see more of J. Jonah Jameson. It was so cool to see a small snippet of him in Spider-Man Miles Morales, but I'd love to see a larger role for him in this game. It would be awesome for Peter to bump into him at some point in time. They had a working relationship in the past, so it'd be cool to see some sort of interaction between the two. Or perhaps maybe there's a small side mission where you end up having to rescue J. Jonah Jameson. I love J. Jonah Jameson in this universe, and I'd love nothing more than to see him in this game. Hey guys, before I move on to the rest of the video, I wanted to let you know that I have set up a Marvel Spider-Man 2 Twitter community where we can share photos, discuss theories, and more. If you're interested in joining a community of other Spider-Man fans, feel free to join the community via the link in the description. Alright, so the next cameo on my list is Doctor Strange. The Sanctum Sanctorum exists in New York City, which pretty much establishes that Doctor Strange exists in this universe, so it'd be pretty cool to see a brief appearance of him at some point in time during the sequel game. Doctor Strange has a history of making cameos in Spider-Man games, comics, TV shows, and more recently in a Spider-Man movie. I don't need a big role for him at all, but I'd love to see Peter run into him at some point in time. Cameos for me are just supposed to be fun appearances, so it doesn't necessarily mean that these characters need to tie into the main story, but it's just a fun opportunity to see other characters that are in Spider-Man's universe. So next up on my list of cameos is going to be Eddie Brock. Now, it appears that Insomniac is not going to go with the classic storyline of having Eddie Brock turn into Venom. I mean, that is, unless they do a whole bait and switch and it ends up being Eddie Brock that does become Venom, not Harry. But I'm just going to assume that Harry will become Venom in this story. Even if that's the case, Eddie is still a prominent character in Spider-Man's universe and deserves to be seen in this game. There's a fun little Easter egg in the first game that establishes a relationship between Eddie and Peter, being that they worked together at the Bugle before Peter left. In one of the backpacks scattered around the city, there's a good luck card from his fellow Bugle employees, and one of the signatures on that card is Eddie Brock. It'd be pretty cool if Peter went back to the Bugle to work, and we get to see some sort of interaction between him and Eddie. And maybe later on down the line, they could possibly establish some sort of Venom line for Eddie, but I doubt that's likely. I don't want to see Insomniac necessarily retread the same storylines with different characters. But my point is, Eddie is in this universe, and I think it'd be a cool cameo cameo for the second game. Alright guys, so that's going to conclude this video. Let me know what cameos you would like to see in the Spider-Man sequel. Did any of my picks make your list? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to keep up with future Spider-Man PS5 related videos. Until next time, I'll see you later.